Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about how a termite report can cause a lot of issues with your purchase. So here we go. Alright, so termite reports. Yay! So now you're in escrow. You're buying your home, you're in escrow, you've got all your inspections have been ordered and things are happening. You've got your appraisal being done, checking out the value, checking safety items, that kind of thing. Home inspection. Someone's coming in, they're diving deep, trying to see everything that could possibly go wrong and when, and all those things. And that report's for you to hold on to. The lender doesn't see that part. Then you also have this thing called a termite report. Now those are going to be standard on most transactions, not all. Conventional financing, sometimes you don't need them. But usually with FHA or VA financing, there needs to be a termite or a wood-destroying pest inspection. Now, a weird quirk about these inspections is that once something is noted, it can't really be unnoted, which means if an underwriter sees this report and there are items on there, we need to have a secondary report done called the clearance, saying that whatever's been called out has been addressed. Okay, so that's the premise. A wood destroying pest inspection, that type of thing, is going to be very, very handy, especially if you're buying a house that's near a body of water. You usually have a lot of dry rot issues and termite issues if you have homes that are near around lakes or streams. This just seems to just be the thing, especially if you do a lot of lending in a particular area around lakes. It seems to happen just constantly. Everyone's got dry rot problems. Well, the pest inspection is going to be what finds that out, is your dry rot, your termite damage, fungus, that kind of stuff. Usually it's in the eaves. It'll usually be by the front door, overhangs, near the roof. Sometimes it'll be usually in the back. If you have a patio, it'll probably be all over a patio, depending on how it was built. Those are just things that they'll do. So what they'll do as an inspection is they'll say, look, we found this damage in here, and this is about how much it's going to cost to repair it. Now they list these things into two different sections. And why that's important, we'll come in here in just a second. Section 1 items are the ones that this company, the one doing the inspection, can do. So usually if it's dry rot or termite, it's usually going to be wood and stuff they're going to replace. They're going to say, here's the things we found and we can do it. Now Section 2 items are for the things that they see but they don't do or can't do. They might not be licensed to do it, or it's just outside their purview. This usually happens when you see something like a possible stain from water. It might be from an old leak, but they're not plumbers or they're not licensed plumbers, so they can't address it, but they saw it. Now here's what happens. On most contracts in California, this is talking about California specifically because I can speak to this from experience, is Section 1 items are usually what a seller is going to take care of. And it'll say that in the contract. It'll say, look, a termite report will be done and the seller will make sure that Section 1 items found will be cleared. So the assumption is, well, then if there's something on Section 2, the seller's not obligated to deal with it. That's the assumption. Now here's the problem. If it's something like a water stain, it's kind of a big deal. You're going to say, well, is there an active water leak? If there's an active leak, I want to buy this house? It's going to have a safety problem. So now you have this problem where you have a report, and that report says there's something on here that needs to be addressed, but I can't address it, so now you have to get a third party involved. Usually a licensed plumber is what'll come if it's something like a water stain. Now the reason why I bring this up, it's not super common, it doesn't happen to everybody, but it does happen, is that I've had several agents that are 15, 20-year veterans in the business tell me they've never run into that before, and it's ridiculous if they're being required to do anything about it. Now, one of the reasons why this could be is that you could make a really good living as a real estate agent closing, 10 or 12 or even, 20 deals or more a year. But as a lender, we're doing a lot more volume than that because, well, we get paid on the loan amount, not the purchase price, and our commission's usually a lot smaller than what the real estate agent is making. So you can still be pretty busy and still do quite a bit of transactions over the course of a year, but typically an average lender that's doing a good amount of business will do however much business you do in a year as a realtor, as in making a pretty decent living. We might be doing that in like a month. And it's just a volume thing. It's just the amount of transactions we're looking at to where anything that can go wrong will and does and has a higher opportunity to happen. So we have kind of that insight because we see a lot more. So even if someone's been in the business for 20 years and they've closed a consistent amount of business every year as a realtor, they might not run into these weird little things that happen. So that's why I wanted to do this video, because it's not common, but it does happen. It's happened enough to where I've seen it at least 4 or 5 times over the last 5 years. Now, once a year, that's not a big deal, but it can be a deal breaker for someone who's buying a home, because now you have this weird misalignment of what people understand is a Section 1 or a Section 2 item. This happened to some friends of mine buying near a lake in California, where the termite company put something in Section 2 saying we saw a stain. It looked like it came from water. Well, the underwriter is going to see that, and they're going to say, is there an active leak? We need someone who is a professional, who's licensed, to tell us, is there a leak? It led to a lot of issues and a lot of back and forth and a lot of unhappy kind of misgivings there towards the end of the transaction, because it was holding up our closing. We've got our buyers that want to buy the house. We have our sellers that want to sell it. And right in the middle are these guidelines and things that have to be done. So it's just something weird that can happen, but it's something to be aware of. There are some quirks and some things that you can't always anticipate when you're buying a home. And when they happen, you may not understand them, because it may kind of defy your logic of what you understand of how this stuff works. So just know the information is out there. There is a reason for these things, and being more aware of them can help prepare you for them. So this is it. I'm probably not going to do another video for this week because it's Thanksgiving. Everyone, Thanksgiving. I hope you all have a great one. Have some time off, some rest, eat lots of turkey, relax, all that good stuff. And we'll catch you next week. All right. Peace.